Hi guys, welcome to the Martial Art Business Growth Network podcast. Today we've got an absolutely amazing interview and kind of a case study where you can get a little bit of insight into somebody that's been with the Growth Network literally since day one, actually since day zero, because I've been coaching him before we were actually the Martial Art Business Growth Network. He's an amazing guy, a brilliant individual. He's an exceptional martial artist and a very, very good martial arts school owner. Extremely humble. We're going to have a look at what he does and pick his brains a little bit. Just like to introduce Mr. Kiel Tidman. How you doing, Kiel?
Yeah, how's it going, Ricky? Okay, mate.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. So to start off with, can you just let everybody know who you are and what do you do in the martial art world?
Yeah, so as Rick says, my name's Kiel Tidman. I've been involved in martial arts one way or another since I think I started about 1991. And had my journey through kind of competition right the way through to kind of like my mid-teens. Then took a break and come back and built a kind of a martial arts school from scratch to kind of like where we are now with a full-time academy, satellite academies, very, very comfortable six-figure kind of income. I employ staff. So yeah, it's gone through the whole journey.
Cool, awesome. So, what got you into martial arts initially?
This is a good question. I used to just watch martial arts films, so a huge fan of Van Damme and Bruce Lee, Enter the Dragon, and I used to practice some of the stuff, the techniques, and that in the playground. And I think it was one of those things where my mum was like, you know what, you need to do something. What was funny is, I mean, like my bread and butter is kickboxing. I come from a kickboxing and freestyle karate background, but my first intro lesson was actually to an Aikido class.
Oh.
And fortunately enough, I wasn't able to go to the intro session, and I just happened to, at the same place. It was a kickboxing session a couple of days later, and then I just, from there, just spiraled. So could have been an Aikido practitioner from the start, to be fair.
Okay, cool, awesome. Didn't know that. So, what got you into teaching? How did the whole teaching thing start? When did you first start? And
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me with regards to teaching was kind of like a frustration, really, because when I got my black belt, I was really, really young. So those that I'd kind of come along my martial arts journey with, they had been offered the opportunity to go and teach. And at that point, it wasn't something that was on my radar. Like I was competing quite a lot, and I felt like I'd achieved at that point everything that I aim for within martial arts, because being so young, and in the early 90s, becoming a martial arts instructor wasn't, it wasn't really a sought after thing, and the opportunities weren't there. But as far as kind of like teaching goes, it's only really from 2008 when I came back into martial arts after having, a break.
well, that's good. So, you've got an amazing martial art facility. Yeah. For those that know Kiel personally, you know that his attention to detail is ridiculous, which is why anytime he comes into my academy, there's a bead of sweat that rolls down my forehead. And I was going to thinking, oh, that's out of place. That should be color coded with that. And his academy look the business, look ridiculously professional. Can you talk to us a little bit about your experience opening your martial arts schools and what it was like at the beginning to go from being like somebody teaching to somebody being a school owner? What did that look like and feel like for you?
Well, at the same time, of starting, I had a 9 to 5, job. So I was worked in retail and corporate banking. So it was very, very difficult. It was something that I wanted to do. I've seen other people, doing it and, becoming really, really successful. And martial arts was always a passion and kind of, giving back, the skills that, martial arts had given me. I wanted to give back. So, it was very, very difficult at the start. I didn't really know what I was doing as far as kind of like running a martial arts, business went. It was very much kind of, pay as you go. I didn't really know anything about, about marketing. It was, what little bits and bobs that I picked up here and there, and, little influences within, within the industry, which was nowhere near, like it is now. So yeah, it was difficult juggling the 9 to 5, not knowing anything about marketing, not knowing anything about kind of putting my own curriculums together, and everything that is entailed in running a martial arts school, and then obviously doing it on my own as well.
Yeah.
That was quite difficult. But starting from the ground up, there's problems with locations. So you'd find a location, you'd hit a setback because of one thing or another. So yeah, it's a challenge. It was a challenging time.
So what about you mentioned when you were doing all the classes and doing everything yourself and working full time. Now
Yeah.
I remember exactly what that was like. It was fun, but it was a major challenge. It was very, very stressful at times as well. What did that feel like for you? Probably coming towards the end.
Before the transition to kind of like full time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I kind of hit that crossroad. I was fortunate enough to have kind of like really persevered, through all the obstacles. Um, but if I'm really really honest, at that point, you know, um, it was a big risk. It was still a big risk
Yeah.
financially, emotionally, time.
Yeah.
My wife had just had a baby, and things like that. So there was a lot. There was a lot going on, but I had to kind of make the decision with the support from people around me. Pros and cons, and have a look at the potential of where it could be. That really helped make my decision, but it wasn't an easy one. And it was very tiring and mentally draining at times as well.
I can imagine. So as we know, there are loads of martial arts school owners out there that are at that phase where they're still working full time and they want to make the transition to being a full time instructor, but there's that uncertainty and that fear. Plus, there are messages out there, subliminal messages, and like a kind of an idea that's unsaid that like you should just quit and go all in on running your martial arts school, sink or swim. What are your thoughts? What would your advice be to anybody that is at that crossroads and it's getting a little bit difficult? What would you say to them?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. I know there's that whole thing, no risk, no reward. But when you've got, a family look after, you're the main breadwinner. You do have to weigh up all of these pros and cons. So you do have to persevere through, the ups and downs of growing the business to, a point where it's financially an option, and then it's about surrounding yourself with the right people, that know the right things to steer you and keep you on the right path. And I think that was where that was the kind of that was the luxury for me. I had the right people around me, guiding me in the right way, which helped me make my decision. It kind of helped me step over, that little last hurdle.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, like I say, within the growth network, as you know, we've got like a framework for that transition, and the way that we visualize it is like a seesaw. It's not just stop this and do this. It's this a gradual tipping point, and that's worked really really well for many clients that have made that transition. So yourself being probably the first one that's gone through that full transition and done it so successfully. So
Yeah.
kudos for that. So we've been working together for a while. How long have we been working together? How long have you been involved with myself coaching and the growth network?
Well, obviously, like the growth network from day dot, working with yourself. Fortunate enough to work with you for at least the last 10 years, if not more, 10, 11, 12 years. It's been that long. So I've seen a lot of things happen in the industry, and I've been I've had the privilege of having yourself and the rest of the growth network and all its members, that are all singing from the same sheet, and building each other up, supporting each other, and really outside the box thinkers. So I'm very, very fortunate on that side of things.
Awesome. So tell us about the actual journey. When we went from, because initially, because I've known you since you were a kid,
Yeah.
yeah. Because we used to train at the same kickboxing martial arts school and everything, right? So when you came back into the martial art world and everything, it was a mate helping a mate kind of thing.
Yeah.
Talk to me and everybody listening about the journey of when we started making a formal, structured coaching relationship as a different relationship to get that accountability and move things forward a little bit more seriously. What did that feel like for you? Maybe what were your reservations? What were you scared of? What were you fearful of? Because it's a big. If you've never had a coach or anything like that before, it is a scary thing. Most people think, "Oh, we don't need it. We don't need them." Until they have them, then realise they should have had them 10 years earlier. Talk to us
Yeah.
about the journey?
Yeah. So yeah, it was one I had like reservations all along, and I probably could have made the jump to going full time before I actually did. But having somebody, having yourself there to kind of, guide me, step by step. This is kind of like where we're at now. This is the potential within X, Y, and Z time frame. If you do this, this is the potential. There was a progression. It was clear. So it offered me the clarity that I needed at that time. So I was able to change, positions within my full-time job to allow me, the mental focus on the business. And then somebody, having yourself there as somebody to hold me accountable to the actions that needed to take step by step to get me where I needed to go was, I wouldn't have been able to do it without that. It would have been a lot of guesswork. So you took a lot of guesswork out of the whole process based on your experiences, things that had worked for you, things that hadn't worked for you. And me, I'm very much as a listener. I'll take everything in and process it correctly. So that to me was exactly what I needed. The good thing is as well, I'm seeing it like over and over and over again with the other guys that are in the growth network, and it's so pleasing to see that I can resonate with their journey.
That's true. I mean, what were the first things what's the first major kind of mini project do you think it was that we worked on that maybe challenged you?
Definitely the marketing side, because I didn't know anything about marketing. I knew a little bit about finance and a little bit about, customer service, but marketing, as far as I was concerned, marketing was a flyer and a poster. So I didn't know anything about kind of Facebook marketing, which was kind of like really starting to kind of hit the ground running at that time. Like creatives and not knowing who I actually wanted in my martial arts business. That to me was the challenging thing, because it was alien to me, and I had no prior experience whatsoever. But that was the game changer for me. Having that little bit of understanding of marketing helped me get some momentum in my business, and then from there, it had the stepping stone effect.
Okay, cool. So that was like one of the first major projects that you remember. What's one of the more recent projects that have been implemented, probably in the past couple years, probably 2-3 years, that have made a massive shift for you as a business owner? Maybe from like an instructor to a business owner. What kind of projects?
That's it. It's building a team, and it's having people there to delegate some of the tasks that I'm potentially not good at, or tasks that I don't enjoy. So having that team that's taken certain things within the business, such as I don't teach as much as I used to. It's not that I don't enjoy it, but I know that within the business there are so many other things that are needed to drive the business forward, that I'm not always able to give my 100%, mentally and physically on the mats. So having a team, first of all, to take some of the hours away, that was great. and now having a team to do some of the other back office things, customer service and outbound calling and customer outreach and stuff. That to me in the last couple of years has been the biggest change or the biggest switch in the business, and the biggest mindset switch from, like you say, instructor to business owner, where you're giving the people the opportunities to make a career in such a great industry.
No, that's cool. That's good. All right, so we had the pandemic, as we know. People are slowly forgetting that ever happened. But it was a major time for all of our businesses. I mean, most martial arts schools lost at least 50% of their student base. And it crumbled quite a lot of businesses. Some businesses haven't even, they're still recovering now because they haven't sought out the right help. Unfortunately, some have had to close. How did being part of the Martial Art Business Growth Network help you or hinder you through that pandemic period where we had to shut down and we couldn't do anything face to face?
Yeah, there's definitely a twofold approach there. One was all the things that we were able to implement through the guidance of yourself to pivot the business very, very quickly. And we had a lot of comments from some of our members, and that they couldn't believe how quickly we were able to pivot the business and adapt. That's through the preparation and the planning and the guidance from yourself to make sure that we were all prepared when that was going to happen. Plus all the other things that we were brainstorming and doing throughout the network. So on the business side of things, that was it's hard to find the words to how much that was needed at that time. And if I wasn't part of the network, I may be in that category of not having a business to come back to. On a personal level, it was good to be able to still connect with people, network with people, share ideas, motivate each other. And that over the time of the lockdown was so powerful to not only my kind of like mental health and me not wanting to lose everything that I worked really, really hard to build, but for each other as well. I think we just held each other accountable throughout the lockdown to stay positive, stay motivated, keep our business pushing forward as much as possible.
Yeah, it was a very emotional time for everybody. There was a lot of uncertainties, as you know, and everybody watching this, you'll know as well. What I really, really loved is what you said, it's the community. As much as everybody really benefited from being part of the community and doing because we had daily challenges, didn't we?
Yeah.
The daily challenges, from my perspective, was in my head, I'm an optimist, was like, okay, this is going to be over soon. And when it's over, I want to make sure that my business and all the other businesses working with me are solid. So while everybody else is sitting back and waiting and guessing and scrolling on Facebook to find out what to do next, my guy's just hitting it hard. And that kept me going because it made me accountable. I didn't have a choice. I couldn't crumble. If I crumbled, then everybody else was going to crumble. So it was an amazing community, a very, very powerful time. And I hope we don't have to go through anything like that ever again. But it changed. I think it changed. I know it changed me. And it definitely changed some of the guys within our network for the better. How do you think you've grown as an individual from the approach that we take to nurture our like clients and members? Well, yeah. How do you think you've changed over years and grown as an individual?
Yeah, I mean, you've said it yourself. Like with the lockdown and coming out of the lockdown and seeing so many businesses closing and seeing so many businesses, still struggling. And as a business owner coming out of lockdown in an industry that was impacted, really, really heavily. To not only have your business still there, still providing the livelihood for yourself and your family, but also having a business that's growing. And to me as a business owner, I'm very, very grateful to have the income and the business to be in a position where it is to provide myself with the livelihood that I want to live, but also the opportunity to give other people opportunities to work within the business as well. So as a business owner, I've never been more confident, never been more never been more confident in the direction that my business is going, and the direction that I'm going as a confident business owner with a lot of clarity, with the direction that I want to go as an individual as well. So I have a vision, which is really, really good, and I'm able to work towards that vision on a day-to-day basis, week-to-week basis, and also kind of have massive clarity, and my team have got massive clarity on the potential of the business, especially going into to next year and beyond.
Awesome. So what does the future hold for you as an individual and for your business?
So with the business, I want to continue to grow the business so I can, employ more people and provide people with, opportunities to work within, the martial art industry. It's great because it gives back to so many individuals. For myself, I want to do that. I want to help people be where I am, that are going through the same journey that I've been through. I've got the experience that I've had. I resonate with, like yourself. With me, you know the mistakes that you've made, and you steer me away from the mistakes. And I want to be able to be in a position to continue to do that within the growth network, and see those that are just starting out and have aspirations to do it full time, for that to become a realization.
Awesome. So you've gone through, people watching might not know. So with the Growth Network programs, we've got two programs. We've got the GN90, and then we've got the members program. It's called the members, because that's what people think. They want more members until they get in the program, and then it's bigger than that. But it's not just a kind of people ask questions and here's an answer, away you go. It's a structure. We have frameworks in place. So we have things that are tested and tweaked and improved over time. It's an ever growing framework that it's just, I'm stepping back and looking at it. I'm so proud. If I actually thought about trying to create what we have today, back when I first started it, I wouldn't have even started, because it's just such a big, massive, organically grown entity. It's mad, but it's structured. You've gone through all of the different iterations of this, and you're part of the development of it, which is why you're qualified to be one of the Growth Network coaches, because you've gone through the whole lot. You see it, you're there, you're part of the development team and everything. Now, so as a coach, you'll be running the GN90 program and heading that up along with Simone Hopkins. What is your ethos? What do you want to put? What's your thing? What do you want to help people with? How do you want to help people? Or what do you want to say to people about the way you're going to approach your coaching, and what should they be thinking, saying, doing, etc., etc.?
First of all, they need to believe that it's possible.
Yeah.
They have to have the belief within themselves that it is possible, as long as you've got clarity in what you're doing, which the GN90 does. That it provides that clarity from the get-go. And then it's drive. You have to be driven. You have to be like myself, understand that there are going to be some stumbling blocks, some sticking points, but have the mental toughness to work through it with the support from all the coaches, to overcome it, and not give up. Follow the structure, and you have to put the work in. If you put the work in, you'll get the results. And don't be complacent. Just keep moving forward, keep pushing on, and the results will speak for themselves.
Yeah, that's 100%. I mean, the thing that I love about the Growth Network community as well is everybody moves at their own pace. They're just encouraged to move a little bit quicker than that. And because of that, everybody gets results, and they're kind of surprised with the results that they get as individuals. And there's not a comparison of like one school owner that's got 100 members comparing themselves to a school owner that's got 400 members, because you can all learn from each other. Everyone's on different paths and everything. So it's a lovely community. It's an amazing community to be part of. Now, when it comes to coaching and everything, a lot of people have had good results and things with various coaching over here in the UK and in the States and everything. Some people have bad results. And the bad results, by the way, and the good results, for two reasons. It's it's either the coach's fault or it's the individual's fault that's being coached. And each individual instance is a unique situation. Sometimes clients don't listen, they don't do the work, but they still expect the results. And then sometimes the coach doesn't take the time to understand the client and what their actual needs and scenarios are before just saying doing A, B, C, D. What would you say to, because of that, some school owners kind of like, oh no, don't want to do, stay away from coaching, dodgy, it's not going to help me. What would you say to these guys if they kind of hear what we're saying, hear what we're doing, they see the results that people are getting, but they're like, oh no, I'm not another one of like those coaching. There's hundreds across the world. No, don't trust them. What would you say to them?
I think the coaching itself, it has to come through, and the progress that you make within your own business and through the program generally comes from your own realizations. You know what I mean? It comes from, you know, understanding where you're at, where you want to be, and just knowing that there's the support there from somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a listening ear that's not going to steer you in the wrong direction at the wrong time, if that makes sense. So yeah, it has to come from, there is a part of it that has to come from you.
Yeah.
You know, there's a little bit, you know, self-belief, but, you know, as coaches, we're there to listen first, and then ask the right questions for the right realizations and the right kind of light bulb moments to, you know, to come.
Excellent. That's good. So, first of all, I want to thank you for all your hard work, your development and growth. It's been inspirational to watch you. Don't want to say grow, it sounds like it, but just develop as an individual, as a business owner. And you've already been doing the coaching for a long, long time, and you've been doing ridiculously well with it. So congratulations on that as well. Yeah.
I'd like to thank you for the opportunity, and I think this is the same thing with coaching. You can look at a business owner and see the potential of them and the potential of, you know, their business where they can't see it. It's just, you know, getting them to realize it. And I think that's what you've done, you know, for me over a number of years. You know, you've seen the potential of myself and helped me realize it, and kind of, you know, hold me accountable, you know, constantly. Sometimes, you know, in positions of where it's, you know, it's really uncomfortable, and, you know, but it's made me grow and it's made me into a better person. So, you know, I can't thank you enough for that. And, you know, my family is you know, is looked after because of the moves that I've made, because of that as well. So yeah, it's great.
Excellent. You're welcome. Cool. So if anybody watching this is interested in finding out more about what we do, or you've got any questions about anything that myself or Kiel spoke about today, or you feel that you need coaching, you want to get on the Gen 90 program, which is a signature program, which is designed to add an extra 12K to your business with high level accountability in 90 days or less. Or if you're past that and you have bigger problems and you are a bigger school owner, then the members program, which systemizes your whole business from every aspect to give you more members on a regular basis, help generate more money on a regular basis, and also give you more time back by building a world-class team and getting you organized so that you have the option and the choice to be involved or not involved as much or as little as you want. Then simply reach out. There should be a link down here somewhere where you can book a booster call. You get through to either myself or Mr. Tidman or to Simone, and we'll give you one free strategy to help you along the way with whatever you're struggling with right now. And then if you want to discuss coaching, excellent. If not, then we'll just say thanks, goodbye, and then just implement the strategy on your own. So, Mr. Tidman, thank you very much for your time today. Really enjoyed that chat.
Pleasure.
We'll have to do a follow-up in a while and see how you're getting on with everything else. Cool. Take care, guys. We'll see you on the next Martial Art Business Growth podcast.